My name is Sam. I am the sustainability manager of Arthaland. I handle all our sustainability initiatives in the company, and I specialize in buildings. That's why ako rin yung representative namin for this GEOP conversation, because I was part of the team who switched our buildings to GEOP. Okay, so for the perspective of a GEOP switcher, I wanted to share with you our Arthaland sustainability journey as part of the discussion. So just a quick briefer of who Arthaland is. Arthaland is actually the foremost sustainable developer in the Philippines. We have 100% of our portfolio composed of certified green developments. Ibig sabihin yan, we cannot build any building kahit man gaano yan kaliit or gaano kalaki, it has to be certified sustainable project. This is a commitment that was made when we started 15 years back. We knew as a developer that if we're not that every Filipino has a right to live, work, and play in a building that is sustainable. It is our sole responsibility if nagkaroon kayo ng greenhouse gas emissions because of living or working in our buildings. So that is actually a mandate that came from the board of directors that brought down to the top management of Arthaland all the way to all of the staff inside Arthaland. So this is something at the center of what we do. So how we do it is that we do it via these 4 certifications. I'm not sure if any of our audience right now is actually familiar to this green building rating systems. There's LEED. This is an international rating system. This all 4 are third party verified green building rating tools, meaning a project cannot be called sustainable if there wasn't any auditor that came to your building and said that, okay, all of Arthaland's claims is actually sustainable. So that's why we also do this. That's why we're saying certified sustainable developments, because any developer can just say that we're green simply by putting green spaces there. It has, for us, it has to be vouched by a third party. So there. And then quite recently, relatively recently in 2020, we stepped up our commitment. We joined the Net Zero Carbon Building Commitment of the World Green Building Council. Arthaland actually became the first real estate developer in Asia. Can you believe it? It's the first in Asia to be a signatory to this, and definitely the first in the Philippines. Um, what our commitment means is that all of our development portfolio will be net zero by 2030. Not only our ongoing and future projects, but also 100% all our past projects will be net zero by 2030. Sabi nila 2030, malayo pa yun, but actually it's already 7 years down the line. We have to do this fast. That's why we started doing our GEOP journey, because we want to hit our 2030 targets. Kapag when if we still wait for 2030, hindi na kami aabot for all our projects. Ayan. So we have this is only a few of our development portfolio. We have both residential and commercial developments. Um, at the time when we committed, actually there wasn't any GEOP, but we were successful in doing our first net zero project, which is the Arthaland Century Pacific Tower. So our strategy actually is isa-isahin namin yung projects na yan, turn them into renewable energy sources, and then until we gain 100% portfolio of supplied by by renewable energy. So yan, kami ang customers ni na Aboitiz. Ayan. So in 2019, we were successful in bringing the world's first, biro nyo, Pilipino ang gumawa nito, the world's first edge zero carbon building in the world. Ayan, and that is the Arthaland Century Pacific Tower. Now, what being certified means is that we are able to achieve savings across these 3 categories. We've achieved 45% energy savings, 64% water savings, and 34% material savings compared to a conventional project in the Philippines. But aside from having an aggressive savings in terms of all these categories, one key requirement for net zero is that our GHG reduction has to be 100%. And a key point of this is that our energy supplier has to be 100% renewable. And that is when at this time again, GEOP wasn't available in the market. We did this in partnership with First Gen Corporation. We got 100% renewable energy from their Pantabangan hydroelectric power plant. Ayan. What it also means is if all our tenants in the building have now zero GHG emissions. Again, that is what we stand for. We believe that every Filipino should be able to work and live in buildings that have no greenhouse gas emissions. Now, at the time, when we had when we had our ACPT, that's what we call the building, net zero, source 100% renewable. Sabi namin, okay, then we have to start doing for all the projects na. But the problem was without GEOP, at the time, it was Arcoa. Arcoa gave us Arcoa actually opened the market for us. It gave us
Tingala sa mga sungaro. Ang lagi kabalo man ko nga mas madugay man masilduhan ko sa sweldo.
Sorry, can I request them? Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So sorry about that.
No problem. Okay. So in Arcoa kasi, so we had a lot of offers from different RES suppliers back then, retail suppliers. So we had options of going for coal, for oil, and for renewable energy. But and actually at that time, competitive din si non-renewable energy. But we really chose the renewable energy by first gen because this is again what we believe in. And anyway, sabi namin, ang perspective kasi ni Arthaland is we are looking at the market compared to the distribution, utility prices. So sabi namin, okay, when Arcoa was available to us, that was already a good economic benefit for us. So we didn't have to go for non-renewable kahit na cheaper sila at that time because we already got a good savings with the renewable energy. Now, and because of that, we've established a very good relationship with First Gen Corporation. Then, actually, we also commend First Gen because of their management direction. Biro nyo, sila yung merong 100% renewable energy. We felt we are the same in values. That's why we also engage them. Ngayon, sabi namin, okay, balik tayo sa story. Ang problem namin at the time is many of our portfolio buildings that is not qualified for Arcoa because Arcoa requires at the time 700 kilowatt for the peak demand. Now, many of our buildings, especially residential buildings, have lower than that. I think ngayon nasa 500 naman na. But then, through the help of First Gen also, I think they were one of the companies that worked with us in terms of actually lobbying with the government to have GEOP pass na as soon as possible because we were already in the talks with them for the conversion of our other buildings. So at the time, so ngayon, punta tayo sa residential projects because residential projects really cannot go on Arcoa. Not many of them. Arya Residences now is 41% renewable energy. Why it's not yet 100%? Because we have naming issue. So actually, it's a paperwork issue, but we're waiting for it to be 100% within the year na. Yeah, that is just the only issue for kaya siya hindi 100%. Pero we're turning it agad as soon as we can. So this is for residential project. We are also working on the GEOP supply of Cebu Exchange. This is an office tower in Cebu and the Savia Financial Center in Arca South. Also, we are also expecting 100% renewable energy for both of them. Actually, a backstory on Cebu Exchange. We requested a lot of proposals from different suppliers kay Cebu Exchange. This is just to echo what Gina said earlier. Actually, they yeah. Um, so So Cebu Exchange is about 6 megawatt, I think, a requirement in terms of capacity. Now, not again, sinabi din ni Gina kanina, not there's a shortage in renewable energy. So actually, there's not one supplier who could give us the capacity that we needed. Actually, kaya ang dami kong questions din for both EMAP and the Boities because I'm really interested in GEOP. And ang naging problem namin with Cebu Exchange is not one supplier can supply us. So we were looking at the possibility of having two suppliers, combined powers na lang sila for us to have 100% renewable energy. But then, buti na lang, because of our strong relationship with First Gen Corporation, they were able to allocate us our desired capacity, and we're able to secure it for um, another few years with them. But then, of course, we are as a developer, as a committed to net zero, we need to foresee kasi if there are any problems in the future. So that's why we're still curious whether two RES can actually supply our renewable energy. And so we are very proud in Arthaland that in terms of our net zero carbon building commitment, we've already achieved 63% renewable energy mix in our portfolio. And we in 2 years from our commitment, we're able to achieve 86% GHG reduction. So parang we're very ahead of our 2030 goals. We're really hoping that we can achieve that earlier, just to help the 75% GHG reduction commitment ni Philippines. Ayan. Okay. So what are the benefits? For us, our main motivator really is that it is our brand, it is our reputation, it is our promise to our stakeholders. But what we always tell our end users, our tenants and investors is that doing sustainable buildings and also switching to GEOP would save electric utility bills. This is a very tangible benefit to our tenants, to the end users, not to us as a developer kasi sila naman yung gumagamit ng energy. Um, they have a cost, the cost of electricity is lower than market rates. Again, we always compare it to the distribution, the market prices, kasi yun din naman yung alam ng mga tenants. Now, in terms of pricing, actually sinabi kanina ni Gina that they have about 15 to 20% cost savings, but that is only looking at the generation charge. Pero if you look sa amin kasi, ang perspective namin is that magkano ba yan per kilowatt hour? Sama mo na lahat ng expenses. So kasama na in terms of distribution charges para because that's the number that matters. So for us that's around 10%. Ayan. But again, kasama na doon yung distribution charges. So in terms of savings, if you compute your electric bill, slash off mo na lang 10%. That's an end user perspective. Now we also look at an investor perspective in our buildings. Because our buildings, leasing out in our spaces or living in our residential projects would cut off around 10% of your electric bill na. Investors, these are people who buy the spaces inside Arthaland and then have it leased out. So they are our investors. Ngayon, our buildings become more attractive because syempre kung ikaw business ka, gusto mo mag-operate sa isang building or sa isang space na cheaper yung electric bills mo. So for buildings like Arthaland that has renewable energy and GEOP siya that automatically cuts off 10% of your electric bills, gusto mo doon. Wala ka pang ginagawa, lumipat ka lang 10% of your electric bills na. So it becomes more attractive. And what happens, in effect, we have high occupancy rates. Pinag-aagawan siya, in short. So actually, ACPT right now is already fully leased out. We cannot accommodate any more requests for the spaces kasi taken na siya. Ayan, so that's an investor perspective. The same way for residential, mas gusto mo din magstay sa isang residence na mas mura yung electric bill. So for a business naman, for us kasi we've committed to net zero by 2030. Doing renewable energy is really crucial for us in terms of our decarbonization journey. This is an intangible benefit for us kasi um, it builds our brand and our reputation, meaning mga financial institutions wants to partner with us, or capital investors. They would want to partner with Arthaland because of our portfolio and because of our commitment to sustainability. So that is one. That's why even if the monetary and tangible benefits go to our investors and our tenants, yun naman yung intangible benefit for us as a business. So actually, that is the end of my slides. I would like to invite everyone to actually switch to GEOP. Let's source our energy from renewable energy, and let's build a net zero future together.